now listening to Wrestle Report Australia.
You're here. I'm here. Let's do this!
What's up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That's right. You're here. We're here. So let's do this. As stated in the previous podcast, we are Mike and Lan. I am Mike. This is Lan. Hit him with one tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. This is Wrestle Report Australia. We are the newest team bringing you all the news from the wrestling world and the fight game. Today, we will be doing our first Raw review. To kick things off, we started with a little video recap of the men's Elimination Chamber match and the Ronda Rousey segment from the Elimination Chamber. So there's obviously some little build going on there, and then we see that Lesnar and Reigns will be, Reigns being the winner of the Elimination Chamber, they will face off later on in the show. And we also see an image of John Cena, who is going to address his WrestleMania status after losing the Elimination Chamber match. First piece of action for the night is Alexa Bliss starting off the show, coming out with Mickie James to a decent reception. I guess that means that Mickie James is a heel now with no turn.
They all just turn. Just randomly.
I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure.
There's all these heel turns and face turns between Bayley, Sasha, Alexa.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Yeah, so they come out first to a decent reaction. Alexa gets the mic and cuts a promo on her victory in the Elimination Chamber as she retained her belt. And then she starts to talk about the competitors in the chamber. Firstly, by talking to her friend, Mickie James. Well, I guess it's her friend now.
Mickie James!
Mickie James! Yeah! Yeah, she just says that she's learned a lot from her, even though that they've had their differences over the last couple of months, that she really idolizes Mickie James and all that emotional crap.
Even after getting called Biscuit Butt.
Yeah. Biscuit butt. I love when the chants ring out. But then she moves on to the other competitors in the match, saying that Absolution, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, are good and that they do have potential, but just not while she's there and the champion. She then says that she doesn't really want to be that kind of person when she talks about Bayley, but she's going to say it anyway because she's obviously a heel. And says that Bayley is a sad situation, which I agree with. If you have listened to our first podcast, you would know my thoughts on Bayley.
I think Izzy would have something to say about that.
I don't know.
She's a manager. Like, she does some role in some wrestling company. I remember seeing a video on YouTube here, and
I know nothing of this.
She comes out and she cuts a promo, and she accompanies someone to the ring. Yeah, it looks like she's getting into the business for real.
Well, here we go. We have news that I do not know. Lon coming in with the facts. Straight up facts. Well, there we go. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting piece right there. But moving on from Bayley, we now have her talking about Sasha Banks, and the reason that Sasha Banks lost is her massive ego. She then begins to talk about the Nia Jax and Asuka match, because Nia Jax is her best friend, as we all know, but Asuka is quick to come out and interrupt her, and just Alexa immediately insults her with some racial undertones. Starts to, what does she do? She questions her English knowledge.
I know your English is not great, but your body language is saying very differently.
But she's
And I say it in a racist way because that's how it was said by Alexa, and the crowd noticed it. And
I know. She was talking to her like she was dumb. Like, I know that your English is not good.
doesn't matter what way she said it.
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous little segment. I didn't understand it, but the crowd were not behind it. They didn't like that. But after that, she just says that Nia does deserve to be in the title match at WrestleMania, which I kind of agree with because I'm really hot on Nia Jax at the moment. I'm liking how hard she's working and how strong she's looking in these matches. She's proven that she's got talent and she's not just some big girl. She's a beast, and I want to see her get a proper push. But Asuka appears to be frustrated with what's being said and appears like she's going to do something about it. But then Nia Jax comes out. Asuka quickly attacks Mickie James and Alexa before Nia can even get in the ring. But once Nia's in the ring, they quickly get the upper hand on her. But the saviors of the day, Sasha Banks and Bayley, come out to help. And there is your trademark spot where, you know, someone's getting hurt and we all know someone's coming to the rescue. So then it's a little brawl between the six, but Alexa, Nia and Mickie get the better of them all. And we go to commercial break. When we come back from commercial, we are now in a 6-woman tag match.
Angle has made the announcement.
Yes. But we're not going to talk too much about this match because basically it was just your basic 6-woman tag. But there were some good spots in there that do set up current angles. Like Bayley goes to make a tag at one point, but before she could even do it, Sasha tags herself into the match in a, some would say, aggressive fashion. Just slapping her on the back.
Yeah, it wasn't a normal tag.
No, it wasn't a very nice way to come into the match. Well, what did you think about that?
I don't like the 6-person tag matches, either men's or women.
It's like Teddy Long's back. There's just tag matches left, right, and centre when things are going the wrong way.
And there's just too much angles at once, like too many feuds. Like there shouldn't be 3-4 women in the actual feud. Think of like the classics, like, you know, Rock and Austin.
Ooh.
Brett and Shawn.
Ooh.
Shawn and Razor Ramon.
Ooh.
Hulk Hogan, Andre.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Not Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss,
Mickie James.
Bayley,
Sasha Banks.
Sasha
Which,
Banks.
who's going at who? What's happening? The only thing that we know for sure is Asuka ain't losing. That's all we know.
That's guaranteed.
But yeah, there was some spots in this match like the Sasha tagging herself in on Bayley. Nia just looked like a beast. Still, she's still coming in strong. The match is basically Team Bliss in control, and it's just a build up until Asuka comes into the match. Sasha, here's a good spot. Sasha is the legal woman, and Bliss is cutting her off from the tag and gives Asuka a little sneak attack so she cannot come into the match. Mickie James makes the tag, and Sasha tries to tag in Bayley, but this time it is Bayley that jumps off the apron and leaves Sasha hanging. And that, I like that.
Yes.
There was a bit of heelishness from Bayley there.
Yeah.
And
that's what she needs.
That's what she needs. But here's my question. I said it.
For her character to progress
and develop,
she needs a heel turn.
She does. We talked about this in our first edition. But like I said today while we were watching the show, is it going to be a angry Bayley? Or is it just going to be a sad Bayley? Sad that she's gotten hurt by her friend and she now has no one to hug? Or is it going to be, I ain't hugging no more, I'm kicking ass now to get
Every
where I
t-
deserve to be.
Every time she's come out lately, it's like she's sad.
It's because her wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men keep failing on her. Have you ever noticed that they'll all come up and one will just flop there, like it's not happening.
They're the biggest botches in history.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a little interesting part there. We'll see what happens with Bayley's character. But Sasha then tags in Asuka, and Asuka cleans house as she does, just takes over. Bliss does break up a near fall, but Bayley then returns to help Asuka, but not Sasha Banks. Once Bliss is taken out of the ring by Bayley, Asuka quickly gets the armbar on Mickie James, and there's the submission victory. So Bayley seemed happy that they won, but Sasha was not pleased with Bayley. I think it was a decent match to start Raw off with. It wasn't too over the top, but it got the crowd decently pumped. How many Lance stars does the opening match of Raw get?
The opening match gets
Dun-dun-dun.
just a 2-star.
2-star, soft two, but that's okay. Don't take it like we're dissing, because here at Wrestle Report Australia, we don't discriminate. We just commentate. That's it.
I'm not a rapper.
Okay. Then what is up next? We had big match. John Cena comes out to his regular reception of John Cena sucks. Then he walked over and shook the hand of good old Jonathan Coachman, and then made his way down to the ring. Stood there like a bit of an idiot for a minute, like he always does when he's got something emotional to say. And then went on to say that he failed. He failed.
I'm a failure.
He felt demoralised after failing because he was then shoved in front of a microphone. But he said he was going to figure it all out. Says that he's not staying beaten down. He can get back up. He is up and standing, and that he's figured it out.
He is Superman.
He is Superman. He's figured out the code. He's cracked it. He's going to do something he should have done a long time ago, and he issues the WrestleMania challenge to The Undertaker. That's right. The crowd went absolutely crazy, which I did not expect.
No.
I didn't expect, because it's been, we've all thought it was going to happen. It's so predictable that it's been talked about for so long. Maybe like 2 years now it's even been talked about. John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
The last time Taker appeared, he didn't give off any signs that he
Was done. Or that he was coming
no,
back.
He was coming back, yeah.
He was a bit...
It seemed to me like he was done.
But if he was done, why would he come back?
I don't know. I don't even understand that promo.
That he
from
can't...
25.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That was a stomp.
It was...
First promo ever that's had a stomp.
I literally finished watching that. That was why I was hyped for Raw 25. I was like, oh my god, this is the first time we're seeing The Undertaker come back since leaving his gear in the ring. We're going to find out. Is he retired? Is he coming back? Finally, we're going to get the answer. And here he comes out at the Manhattan Center, which was cool to see. It was a fucking awesome image to see The Undertaker back in that building.
Yeah.
Because I'm an avid watcher of fucking the old school WWE programming. I've got the old DVDs and VHS tapes. That's right, I may not be that old, but I am that old at heart because I own the VHS tapes. And that's what I saw, is The Undertaker wrestling in the Manhattan Center for Monday Night Raw coming out.
More of the actual Raw 25 should have been based in that building.
I agree.
Then have the Brooklyn as the
Secondary show, I agree. But that I was so hyped for that moment, and by the end of the promo I literally had myself saying, what the fuck was that? Like, that explained nothing.
Hey, we got nowhere.
We got nowhere with that promo. And then it's still being hyped, the John Cena Undertaker match. Like, will it happen? It's probably gonna happen. Or maybe not. It might not happen. And then here comes John saying, I want to challenge the Undertaker. And the crowd actually got into it. They're
Biggest pop.
biggest pop. The yes chants were insane. It was like the roof was going to come off the goddamn building. And Cena felt it. He's like, do you feel that? That is history. John says that there's 39 WrestleManias between him and The Undertaker, and they have never stood face to face on the grandest stage of them all. People are searching for WrestleMania. He says that that match is WrestleMania, and he says that that match is not happening. Because he has been told that it's not happening because the match is impossible. And then he plays to the crowd saying that now you know what it's like to feel disappointed. But my road to WrestleMania...
I think the words were, you understand the point of failure.
Oh, yes. Because he was talking about failure, and when you fail alone. Yes. Keep reaching for them dreams, John. You can do it.
You're Superman.
Never give up. Never give up, bro. Make another rap album, please. He says his road to WrestleMania is not done, and it now goes through SmackDown. Says that he will show up on SmackDown tomorrow night and earn his way to WrestleMania instead of being gifted one. And then he ends by saying, see you tomorrow, and drops the mic. And it's all over, Red Rover. He's out. We then go to commercial break. We come back from commercial.
What'd you think about?
I don't know. Man.
About him going to SmackDown.
Oh, about him going to SmackDown? Well, I have a sneaking suspicion that The Undertaker is now going to show up on SmackDown, because SmackDown, for the latter part of The Undertaker's career, was his show.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that him going to SmackDown... And John's, exactly.
The Doctor of Thugonomics.
See, if you can go back to that gimmick, I'll be the biggest John Cena fan that there ever was. Because that gimmick, that's pure gold, that gimmick. And now he's just so watered down and PG. He's always got to be emotional. And I don't understand. He
needs to hang around Bailey.
Yeah.
She seems to be turning to the dark side.
Yeah. But you got to give John credit. He is one of the best promo cutters in the world, but I don't like how he's always got to start yelling. He's got the Dolph Ziggler... Oh no, well I would say Dolph Ziggler has the John Cena syndrome, but they both do the same thing, and it's also why I can't get into Dolph Ziggler, but we will talk more about Dolph Ziggler on the SmackDown edition. But going to SmackDown, I like it. I mean, SmackDown to me right now is the better show. But in saying that, they're both a bit lost. But I retract that statement, because I've got talent on both shows that I really enjoy. I'm a fan of a lot of people on SmackDown, and I'm a fan of a lot of people on Raw. So I can't really say that I like one show more than the other. I don't know about you. But John...
I think it's Raw for me. I don't know, they just seem to have the...
flagship talent.
Yeah, at the moment.
But...
I'm not saying SmackDown doesn't have the good talent.
Who's the champ on SmackDown?
Owens and Zayn in the title picture, and...
Yeah, but who's the champ on SmackDown?
AJ.
AJ Styles. That's right. And that to me is enough to put SmackDown ahead. Just because he's the most legitimate champion that this company has had in a very long time. Two-time, but we will talk about him also on the SmackDown edition. But also John going there puts him in the pool with all those great talents. And even though Sammy and Kevin aren't having the best storyline direction at the moment, they are still two of the best talents in the roster. So
I'm not knocking their talents.
No, of course, yeah.
It's just they shouldn't be in that position. They need...
Maybe that's what John's going there for.
Maybe.
To knock him out. Just sit down, boy. No, he'll be going for maybe another United States title run. Bobby Roode versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Could you see it happening? If this Undertaker...
Who's he set the face at Fastlane? Bobby Roode. Jinder and Randy Orton.
Another triple threat. Yes, that is correct.
Triple threats, fatal 4-ways, fatal 5-ways.
6-man tags.
7-man elimination chambers.
Yeah, you always got to add more men.
50-man Royal Rumbles.
Vince McMahon. No, we can't do that. But yeah, how do you feel about it? I think it's a good move to put him there. Raw doesn't need him. Raw's got enough storyline shit going on.
You can go back and forth anyway, so doesn't really matter.
He's the hottest free agent in the wrestling industry, but he's only on Raw and SmackDown.
Until Kenny's contract runs out.
Oh, okay. Sorry to go off topic here quickly, but the Golden Lovers and Chase Owens versus the Bullet Club, which meant Cody Omega. Sorry, I'm so excited. Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes finally were in a match together, and it was intense. I'm not going to get into who won or what happened, but you can look it up for yourself and experience the moment, because there is a good storyline going on there in New Japan / Ring of Honor. And Cody Rhodes also did cut a very good promo after the match. This match happened at Honor Rising Night 1, so be sure to sign on to whatever device you are using and look it up, because you will not be disappointed. Anyway, back to the WWE programming.
Bray Wyatt enters the ring.
Yes, we come back from a commercial after the Cena promo to Bray Wyatt entering the ring. And just to make a quick point, the commentators were talking about his match with Matt Hardy. And once again, if you watched Elimination Chamber or listened to our first edition, you would notice that I talked about this as well. Michael Cole once again tonight referred to Matt as the broken one instead of the woken one. So I don't know if they're just trying to sneak the little broken name in there because he owns it now.
But then Graves
says
woken.
Immediately after says woken. So I don't know if...
which one is he?
Which is he?
Who
knows? We'll find out, I'm sure. Actually, I'm not sure, because you never know what's going to happen in WWE programming. But this match is Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater. It's basically a squash match with Bray taking out Rhino, who's there.
It wasn't even a match.
No, it was basically like a 2-minute beatdown.
Yeah, I think that was scheduled, that was scheduled for the match, and the bell didn't even ring, and he just attacked him.
Indeed, yes, that is correct. He attacked Rhino first, sending him out of the ring, and then attacked Heath, beat him down with his signature moves, did a little dance with his body, which was a bit...
When he set him up for the sister.
Yeah.
Started dancing with him.
Trying to counteract this strangeness in this storyline with Woken Matt, which I thought was a cool little moment.
He hasn't danced with Napoleon.
No, he has not. He has not taught with Baryshnikov. He has not sat under the stars and looked out at the galaxy with the great scientists of the time before.
He has not played with Mozart.
He has conducted symphonies with Beethoven. And what has Bray done? He sat in a chair with Sister Abigail. But after he hits Heath Slater with the Sister Abigail, we then see a replay very quickly of what just transpired, but it looks like the WWE production team once again jumped the gun, and as we are viewing this replay, Michael Cole is informing us that while the replay is showing, Bray Wyatt has just taken out Rhino with his Sister Abigail. Don't know why we didn't get to see it, but at least we got told it happened. We cut back to Bray in the corner with a mic, about to cut a very good promo, and it was, and I quote, "Look what you made me do. You made me hurt these innocent men. This is your fault, Matt Hardy. You lead them to the slaughter. The great war is far from over. My friend, you will face me again, but this time I will make sure that your woken eyes stay shut forever. I am coming for you, Matt. Run." Now, I really liked that little promo. There was delete chants. You could hear them, which I also liked because the crowd is behind Matt Hardy. Even though we did not see him on Raw tonight, the crowd still showed that they were behind him, which is good. I really liked the line that I will make sure your woken eyes stay shut. When I heard that, I was very pleased with the promo. So, good job, Bray. Good job.
He's doing well in this feud. Like, he has been stale.
Well, they haven't had anything really for him to do. They came close to a good angle with him and Finn, but they didn't really execute that feud properly to me.
Yeah, it's not stale. He's just not being booked.
Yeah, he's not being booked correctly.
Yeah.
But like I said in our first edition, I don't think there is anyone better to do this gimmick, the introduction to this gimmick with Matt Hardy, other than Bray Wyatt. They are the perfect team to put together, and they're both doing very well. And I believe we are going to see a lot more from Matt Hardy in the sense of strange things, like what happened in the beginning of their match at Elimination Chamber. And I am really looking forward to see this match most likely take place at WrestleMania. But I am hoping that we don't see stupid cockroaches and video screens on the mat of the ring. Because that match with Randy Orton was absolutely atrocious.
It's like, what was he scared of?
Video
effects!
Oh my god! CGI! CGI!
Oh, God.
This is the biggest TV I've ever seen! Oh, but no. Please, as long as they don't go in that silly kind of direction, I'm really happy. I want to see this match on WrestleMania. Please do not put it on the pre-show. Please. Just please. Okay.
I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling it will be too.
And
But
I'm not going to be happy.
But it's alright. What they'll put the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They'll put some cruiserweights on there. The cruiserweight tournament, that'll culminate in the kickoff show.
I think they'll try to put that on Mania after the backlash from the last one with Aries and Neville.
Yeah, no, they'll just put it on the DVD.
Yeah, that makes up for it.
No, well, the only way I believe that'll go on
Look
the
at
actual...
The pre-show, they're not even here. It's like the pre-show was a curse.
Yeah, but hey, I don't think Neville should have ever left.
Like Ryback, he was on the pre-show 1 year, where next year is not even at Mania.
Yeah. What can you do, eh? It's just it's the way that WrestleMania goes. It's a 4-hour show these days, as it is, and they do
It's like 5.
And well, there you go. And then they do an hour for the pre-show. I don't know why. They never used to be pre-shows. Why do they have to do pre-shows? I don't get it. They're like, oh, we'll give them the crowd this while they're all coming in and get people hyped. Why not just wait until everybody's in the arena and just have a fucking massive long-ass show? It's fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah, let them get hype for the first match, not the pre-show matches.
How would you feel if you were a talent? And I know, in all honesty, they'll probably all sit there and say, I don't care, I performed at WrestleMania. But in all honesty, when you dig right down to it, if you were a talent that was massive on the independent scene, you know, everyone knows you and they've wanted you to get to WWE for so long so you can show what you can do, and then you're like, yes, I'm finally going to get a WrestleMania match, and then you come out at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, and you see like 200 people sitting there. You're like, why is this different? It's not different. It's only different because you're in a massive arena, but there's only the same amount of people watching you because WWE don't see fit to hold off on their product anymore. They just want to get in and get out.
Why does it have to be the pre-show as well? Why can't they just have the matches and just say
WrestleMania?
WrestleMania, it's an actual whole show.
What, WrestleMania 20. Cruiserweight Rumble.
Yeah.
There was in that. Jamie Noble, Ultimo Dragon, Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero. these days, that would be on a pre-show.
Yeah.
But it was smack bang in the center of WrestleMania 20, where it all began again. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of pre-shows, and especially on like when you do it, say for Elimination Chamber and stuff like that, it's okay. But for the big marquee pay-per-views such as Survivor Series and SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, I believe that they should all be just big shows with the one brand, and that gives the talent the same effect that it used to have, where you're going into WrestleMania and you know that crowd is going to be packed and you are going to get the performance of your lifetime. But we're about to take a quick break. Before we do, we'll just let you know what happened after the Matt Hardy, the Bray Wyatt promo on Matt Hardy, and it was just a little video package of Ronda's segment again, so it's nothing too interesting. But yes, we will be right back to let you know what else happened this week on Monday Night Raw. You are listening to Wrestle Report Australia. You think the action stops just because the boys are taking a little break? Wrong! Here at WRA, the action never stops. We'll be right back with some more of the newest and most spectacular wrestling and fight podcasts that you've ever heard in your life. Wrestle Report Australia, the only place to go to get these pods. Hit the like and subscribe button now.
You're now listening to Wrestle Report Australia.
You're here. I'm here. Let's do this!
Welcome back, everybody. This is Wrestle Report Australia. I'm Mike. This is Lon. Hit him with a one time.
Yo.
And we are the newest team bringing you all the news in the wrestling world and the fight game. We are currently in the middle of our Raw review. Where we left off, it was the end of the Bray Wyatt match, and we went to commercial. We come back from commercial, and we have the Miz's theme playing. He enters with the Miz Taraj. I don't like the Miz Taraj, we all know this. But at least they weren't wearing their crappy gold shitty jackets today. I was proud to say that they at least looked semi-normal.
Well, they had big smiles on their faces because they got their own separate introduction. It was the Miz and the Miz
And
Taraj.
the Miz Taraj. They felt important. Finally. Anyway, we get to the ring. Miz immediately takes a cheap shot at Anaheim, the city that we are coming from, saying that he could be down the road in LA, rubbing shoulders with the greats such as Jennifer Lawrence, or pitching his brand new movies to the big spot producers, but instead he's here for Monday Night Raw in this bona fide suburb. He then goes on to say that in 62 days, he will become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time and become the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and lists a bunch of legends such as Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, even Pedro Morales, and says that he will be better than all of them. Says his star shines the brightest. He's the anchor of the Marine franchise, and he even plugs his new show with Maurice as the new hit television sensation, Miz and Mrs. But the crowd did not react to his cheap little plug, so he says he will say it again and they will cheer for it. He repeats the television sensation line and they boo him. And then he says he doesn't care because he knows even though they're booing, they'll watch it anyway. Now, I like the promo so far. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, he was good in it. He's always good with his promos, and I don't know, he's getting really intense in the middle of it, and
I think he's legit got a chip on his shoulder. He's not happy, and he, ever since he, I believe it was not long before his angle with John Cena at WrestleMania. That's when I saw Miz's character really start to improve and shine. His promo work got real, and you could tell that he starts tapping into real emotion. And so ever since, he's been aggressive and fighting for his spot to be one of the top stars in the WWE. And I'm very impressed with The Miz, and I really like how his character is at the moment. So anyway, he continues to say that even with all these accolades that he has, he's still treated like every other superstar, or worse, because he says that he doesn't even have merch, even though he's the most attractive superstar on the WWE roster. And he says that it should be him going to the main event of WrestleMania. Like you said, very intense promo. At this point, he's getting into it. Says that he's sick of being taken for granted and disrespected. He doesn't care what happens to everyone else from the chamber, because his dream will live on as he is the champion. He says he wants to know what he's doing at WrestleMania because he doesn't feel like he's being treated fairly. And then he said that Kurt says to him that his opponent tonight might determine his WrestleMania opponent. Might, yes. And he was not happy with that. He says, and this is something that I really liked this part of the promo. He says he's been here for 12 years and might isn't good enough. And that's true. He has been there for 12 years. He's a former WWE champion. At one point, he was their top guy. They entrusted him with that, and he did well. I liked him as the top guy. I've always liked The Miz. He's constantly reinvented himself, although over the last couple of years he has been that A-lister, but he didn't come in as the A-lister. He's had many different gimmicks and storylines that have progressed his character, and he's been there for a very long period of time, and yet he's still not mentioned as one of the best on there. Sure, I know his ring work's not the best.
He got Wrestler of the Year.
He did, but I believe that, I don't know if that was due to his ring work or just his promo work in general. Remember them promos he was cutting on Corbin?
Yeah. Or the Daniel Bryan.
I'll knock your fucking teeth down your throat. Savage.
No, his promos are just on point every time.
You just mentioned the Daniel Bryan one.
It's always,
talking smack. That was intense.
He's always shooting.
Yeah.
Which I like. Speaking the truth.
There was some more truth talking on Raw tonight as well, which was very interesting. But yes, 12 years isn't... 12 years means that might is not good enough for The Miz, and whoever his opponent tonight is going to get a beating. A thrashing. Aiden English would be proud. But then Seth Rollins' music hits, and it's revealed that he is the opponent. As he makes his entry, we go to commercial, and we come back to the match officially beginning. Starts off with some back and forth offense. I really liked this match. There was some good spots with the interference from the Miz-Taraj that led to Miz getting a good shine in this match. He had some good offensive control. This was a really good match. This, to me, is arguably the best match on Raw. We seem to, I think, disagree on that, because there is another match coming up that was also surprisingly quite good. But this, to me, was a highlight, to say the least, of Raw. Both Miz and Rollins put on a great performance with each other. He controlled up until the first commercial of the match, and then we return and Seth gains control and gets a quick near fall, but then Miz returns the favor, and it's back and forth once again. Miz eventually goes to the top rope to set up some high spot, but Rollins runs in for the counter. Miz fights him off, and it appears that he's going to succeed in his high spot, but then Rollins runs back up, slips, has a little bit of a botch like Sheamus did, but he makes it and hits the superplex Falcon Arrow and gets a 2 count.
That should have been the finisher. That was so good.
I liked that move, man. He
When he runs up and he just jumps up like angle.
His athleticism never ceases to amaze me, honestly. Michael Cole even said it in the match at the match finish, but I don't want to give the finish away, so I will bring this point back up. After the great show of athleticism from Seth Rollins, interference from the Miz Taraj breaks up the seemingly win, but Seth takes them out, and then he sends the Miz outside with them and hits his little suicide dive spot to all three of them, which was a cool little moment for Raw. Sends Miz back in quickly, hits his stolen knee finisher, and does a huge frog splash. And when I say huge frog splash, I mean far out. The Miz was on the other side of the ring. Literally, they said it was 3/4 of the length of the ring, but to me, Seth Rollins cleared that ring and landed a picture perfect frog splash on the Miz. And if you haven't watched it, guys, seriously, look for that spot. That's probably the best frog splash I've ever seen. Cause
I haven't seen RVD or
even Eddie.
Eddie
did some big ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is the biggest frog splash I've ever seen. Maybe not the most impactful, because I always used to love the 5-star, how Rob Van Dam would just explode
just
on the
turns in midair.
Yeah, this was the most impressive frog splash that I've ever seen, and to the point that I was saying before with Seth's athleticism, Michael Cole said that this is the kind of thing you see on 205 Live. This is the thing that cruiserweights do, not someone like Seth Rollins, and that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, you got the main roster like Finn Balor and stuff doing the high spots and whatnot, but Seth's a decent sized guy. He's not small. To me, I said to you during the actual show while we were watching, it looks like he's actually packed on a bit of muscle, and he may even be a bit slower, but he's still he's one of the most.
We're going off the old school wrestling games with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
He was always a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So if Shawn Michaels is a cruiserweight, to me, Seth Rollins is a cruiserweight.
Well, see, I don't understand this. I've never understood the weight divisions.
Got Buddy Murphy, the big fella. He's in 205 now.
Yeah, but see, cruiserweights it's just interesting to me the weight class in WWE.
I swear he's like the same size, if not bigger, than Rollins.
Yeah, they'd probably be. I'd say roughly the same size. He's more jacked for sure.
If it was Braun Strowman doing that frog splash, then...
Can you imagine? The ring would implode. Like, that would be a sight to see. Well, hey, we've seen Yokozuna up on the middle rope. I'm sure we can get Braun on the top.
Big Show's done it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Big Show's gone for some elbow drops. I don't think he's ever hit any.
Yeah, they always seem to move.
But no, I think the day will come where we will see Braun scale that top rope. Anyway, that's the end of the Seth Rollins match with that beautiful frog splash. But how many LAN stars does this match get?
I'm gonna go with the first 3.5.
3.5. Did we give the Matt Hardy, the Bray Wyatt match? It wasn't a match.
No, it was not.
It was not a match. See, what would I do without my good partner here? 3.5. He says.
Yes.
The
match.
I'd agree. It was very good.
Yeah, this is what I'd like to see on a pay-per-view, but...
Yeah, it was a pay-per-view caliber match.
Yeah.
Like, I know we didn't... Like, I'm not going to get into the detail of every move that was thrown, and if I did that, we'd be here for hours, people. But to give you the rundown of the match, we just breezed through it, but there was a lot more offense in this match than we have spoken about, and it was a pay-per-view caliber match.
Rollins was on point.
Rollins has been on fire.
After his performance last week, he had to either match it or top it, and he's definitely matched it.
At least.
He
did, what was it, an hour and 25 or 35 minutes in the gauntlet match, and then he was in the Elimination Chamber. Sorry. He was in the Elimination Chamber, and then to come out and put on that type of match straight after being in such a brutal match like the Elimination Chamber and wearing his body out the week before is phenomenal. I mean, it's not as phenomenal as some.
AJ.
Yeah. Shout out to AJ. But
no, it was a good match, one of the better ones of the night.
Yeah, definitely a highlight of Raw. But that...
Wasn't that the first... Oh, no, sorry. The women's match was the first match.
Yes, the women's match was the first match. And then we had... What did we have second? It was just a bunch of promos.
Yeah, this was the second match.
No, second match was Bray Wyatt.
No, because he didn't
it wasn't a match! See, they confuse me with this. They confuse me with these sorts of stories. Okay, so yes, technically this is the second match.
Hold up, one more time. He did not have that match.
I'll see if I can remember.
Yeah. Anyways.
So yes, this was officially the second match on Raw. But then things got interesting. After Seth Rollins wins, he goes to celebrate, but instead of his music, it is Finn Balor's music that starts to play. Seth looks shocked. He does not know what's going on. Finn does his entire entrance, the whole shtick. Crowd's into it, as always. Balor Club worldwide made themselves known. And as Finn Balor goes to enter the ring, Seth waves it off and says, I'm not dealing with this. I'm out. This is my moment. See you later.
Yeah, he was like cut.
He was not happy. And Finn didn't even acknowledge him, really. He's got his cheeky little grin.
His goofy little smile.
And just...
He's always so happy now.
I know. Because he's over, dog.
I got my friends back.
I got my friends. We the club.
In the club.
But yeah, he's over, dog. And he's always happy because he's Finn fucking Balor. That's why. He's the Demon King. But yeah, that was a weird little moment there. We cut to commercial as Finn's still making his entrance. And then when we come back from commercial, it is told to us that Kurt Angle has made the announcement during the commercial break that it is now Finn Balor versus The Miz. And the bell rings, but the Miztourage attack Finn immediately for the DQ. So Finn Balor wins. They beat down on Finn for a minute, go to do a big triple team sort of move, but the Balor Club come to the rescue, beat down the Miztourage, kind of picking up from where they left off last night on their pre-show match. And then it is Finn Balor and the Miz left in the ring. Miz goes to attack Finn, but Kurt Angle's face pops up on that Titantron and says that everyone is getting ejected from the ringside and the match will restart and there will be a winner. If there is not a winner, then the Miz won't be going to WrestleMania at all. So Miz is pissed off, naturally. The bell rings. Finn's already hurt from the beatdown. Miz attacks him and goes for a quick victory, but Finn kicks out. Miz sends Finn to the outside, does a little spot. Miz lands some offensive moves again, goes for multiple pinfalls, cuts to commercial, comes back. They're trading some offensive moves. Finn gains some control, gets a couple of near falls. If it sounds like that I'm not very interested in this match, it's because I wasn't. It was very strange. It was basically a bunch of pinfalls from one another until finally the Miz gets hit with all of Finn's signature kind of moves, like a drop kick to the outside barricade, his little Pele kicks, and Oh, well, he kind of he stole the Miz's moves and did the it kicks, which was pretty cool. I like that. I like when people steal people's moves and use them against them. It's always entertaining. But other than that, it was just pinfall, couple of little signature moves, then the coup de grace for the finish. So, yeah, that was strange. After the match, it cuts to Seth Rollins backstage, not impressed at all, looking at a television screen, and then the wonderful Renee Young comes in and asks Seth Rollins what his opinions on what just transpired were. And he says that he was not impressed by Finn Balor coming out and beating a man that he beat first. And he says that there's one thing that is clear, and that's that he knows how to pave his own way to WrestleMania. It's been proven, and that he wants the Intercontinental title shot at WrestleMania, and then he leaves.
I'm just going to jump in here and I'm going to give the Lion Star rating.
Don't even need to ask the question.
To that last match. And it's a very, very, very solid 1.
1. That's like piss and kidney stones. That's how solid that is. That's I agree. That was not a entertaining match, and I'm a Finn Balor fan. And like I said, I'm hot on the Miz right now too. He's on a good run, but
the Miz, he's just had a match with
Seth Rollins, and a very good match at that. And
Seth beats him, and then the Miz is told that he's got to
fight Finn. All to go to WrestleMania. He's the Intercontinental Champion.
And then Finn beats him, and he's celebrating like
he did something amazing.
Like it's amazing. Like, but to me,
it was the shittest match on Raw.
It made him feel weak.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The guy was already beaten. But a shout out to The Miz, because he had the most airtime on Raw this week, and he owned it. Even though he lost both of his matches, he still had the most time on air, and that's good. That's good for his business. Anyway, it might not be best for WWE business, because it was a strange way to have Raw go, but especially with that storyline too. I had the feeling that it was going to be Finn Balor versus The Miz at WrestleMania, but now with Seth Rollins added to the picture, I don't even know what the hell's going on. They've kind of
triple threat.
Of course. How could I not foresee this coming?
Oh, they'll probably add again Zayn and Owens to the match.
Yeah, they'll feel like they're being underutilized on SmackDown. They'll lose at Fastlane and come to Raw. Be like, I want that Intercontinental belt. We're gonna be co-owners of this one now.
Shane McMahon, special ref.
David Bryan.
Yep.
Okay, so yes, a solid 1 for that. We kind of breezed through it because there was nothing really to talk about, and like I said, I'm not knocking on either one of the people because I like them both, but that was poor booking and poor writing. I did not like that segment at all. Dragged out. They could have ended it at The Miz and Seth, and it would have been perfect. But we'll see what happens next week and how it progresses. From then, the commentary team start to talk about what happened with everyone in the Ronda Rousey segment at the pay-per-view. And if you don't know what happened, either listen to our first edition or have a look for the highlights of that segment in particular, because it was very interesting to say the least. Anyway, they show a clip of Stephanie McMahon. Didn't sound like I said that right.
Stephanie's man.
Stephanie's man shows a clip of Stephanie McMahon on Raw Talk saying that Kurt Angle needs to apologize for the things that he said, and that Ronda Rousey has some explaining to do, and that everyone is going to clear the air on Raw. Then a little hype package shows for Roman Reigns to make his entrance when we come back, and then we cut to commercial. And now, this is one of my favourite segments on Raw, which is interesting because it is our good friend, the Big Dog, Mr. Scrotum Pains himself.
Cole can't help himself every week.
The Big Dog! Yes, and that's right. I just did refer to him as Scrotum Pains. We come back from commercial and his music hits and he immediately gets what we have dubbed the Roman treatment. But he's used to it. He walks down to the ring with his purpose and he begins to cut his promo. He says that he's a man of his word. He said he would win the chamber and that he did, so that when he says he can beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, you know it's the truth because he's a man of his word. Then he does his little awkward pause like he does in the middle of his promos when he forgets something.
What's my line?
But in this case, it wasn't a what's my line. This is why this was one of my favourite segments on Raw, is because Roman Reigns got real. You'll remember at the start of the podcast, we said that there was a little image at the start of Raw that hyped the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar face-off for the end of Raw. And then when Roman Reigns came out, we believed that that was the segment we were going to be getting because that's what we were told was happening. But after his little awkward pause, he begins to talk about truth and says that truth is a funny word. He stutters for a minute and says he doesn't know why he's covering for this guy. Didn't know what that meant. But then he asked the crowd if they want to know what the truth was.
You can't handle the truth.
Funnily enough, they didn't really react because it's Roman Reigns and they didn't think anything was going to happen. But by the end of this promo, for the first time in a long time, the crowd were pretty behind Roman Reigns.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. He then goes on to say that the truth is that Brock Lesnar isn't there. He says that up until 45 minutes ago, to the point he was in the ring, he was supposed to face off with Brock Lesnar tonight in the show, but Brock Lesnar, for one reason or the other, didn't show up. He then says that everyone else backstage would never say this, but he's going to go ahead and say it, and that is that Brock Lesnar is an entitled piece of crap that hides behind his contract. He then says, think about it, which is true. We always think about this. We're 6 weeks away from WrestleMania and the Universal Champion isn't even here. And last night for the Elimination Chamber, we were in Las Vegas. Lesnar was in Las Vegas, but he wasn't at the Elimination Chamber. Instead, he was running around taking pictures with none other than Dana White for the UFC on social media. And I do have to say, I saw that photo in the middle of the Elimination Chamber broadcast, and I damn near shat my pants. I got so excited. But to the WWE's point, that is not good from a business standpoint. And he then says the reason that is because Brock Lesnar doesn't respect anyone in the company or anyone backstage or anyone at all for that matter, including the crowd, and that everybody is sick of it, even though no one will say anything. Every single week, Roman and the boys backstage run all over the world to entertain people, and Lesnar only shows up when the money's right. What do you think about that statement?
Well, it is true. I don't know about the only turns up when the money's right, because he's obviously got a set contract.
He also said, he
paid.
turns up when the money's right and when the city's right.
No, that's not true, because everyone knows about his big contracts.
But in saying that, his contracts are he is set for a set amount of appearances, but I would imagine that he decides when those appearances are and when they're not, because even though he is not there, he is the biggest name in that company. And would you want to tell Brock Lesnar no?
Well, if I'm Vince, I would.
But knowing that he'll just go straight into the UFC and you'll lose your biggest draw and he'll go make money for another company.
But is he still the biggest draw?
Yes. No. What are you talking here? Biggest draw in WWE or biggest draw in UFC?
Oh, in WWE. That's what really matters here.
To a degree, I'd say he is, because the crowd always pay to see him. It's always a big thing when Brock Lesnar's showing up. But in saying that, in his last couple of matches, they've wanted to see him lose.
Yeah, because
they're over it. And Roman Reigns is finally saying what everyone's been thinking, and that is that everyone's sick of this whole Universal Champion that's not even around. We need a legitimate champion on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown has, like I said, one of the most legitimate champions of all time, AJ Styles, as their flagship champion, and that puts SmackDown automatically ahead, because even though you've got Brock Lesnar, who is a bona fide badass, the baddest man on the planet, one of former UFC heavyweight champion, legit athlete, he's never there. So it kind of takes away from the fact that Raw has a big champion, because it's not getting defended every week. It's not getting talked about every week. You rarely get to see the belt. And when the champion is there, he doesn't even talk. It's Paul Heyman. I love Paul Heyman.
The 30-day defense clause.
Yeah, where'd that go?
Hey.
It's gone. It doesn't matter. Like, Daniel Bryan lost his belt.
Should be stripped of that title.
He should be stripped of that belt. But Roman Reigns continues to go on to say that when Lesnar and Heyman do return, they will say that they're businessmen and that's how they do business. But Roman says that he was born into this business and his bloodline is this business, which is a very strong statement, because as we all know, he comes from the Samoan dynasty, which is one of the most influential families in wrestling history. And there's a legit bitterness there, I would believe, to see someone disrespecting the wrestling business when their family is so passionate about it. Even though Roman gets some hate, he does love this business, and that is evident because of the family that he has. He says that he is now said enough, but he doesn't respect Lesnar, and he damn sure doesn't fear that bitch. That was how he basically closed out the promo. Says he has said enough.
He's always got to swear.
Well, that's how he gets his edge. He knows people will like that, because people want that. They're sick of this PG stuff, and every time someone says bitch or shit, or that time that Vince McMahon said, "I'll fucking beat your ass." when you see their moments, you're like, oh yes, there's old school right there. So he's always got to drop that. I respect it, Roman.
It's bullshit, but Heath Slater or someone, if they cut a promo saying bitch, they'll probably be freaking released.
But he said, yeah,
and there'll be a statement.
Yeah, that's true.
Apology
That's true.
Statement from the WWE.
But he does say this. He says he has said enough after calling Brock a bitch, and that he will now head to the back and take his ass chewing like a man. And by ass chewing, he means
It means he's gonna
chew some ass.
He's gonna chew some ass.
No, it means that he's obviously gone off script here, which I believe was legit. And people backstage would not be happy. So he says he'll go back, take his ass chewing like a man, because unlike some, he actually respects this company and this business.
He's gonna take his ass chewing.
He's gonna take his ass chewing. And this is what makes me think that someone backstage was actually pissed. He drops the mic, exits the ring, and usually as soon as Roman finishes talking, they'll pump his music, and he'll walk out like the goddamn Superman that he is.
Dog he is.
But this time he drops the mic, exits the ring, and his music doesn't even start playing until he was halfway, almost out of the arena. And that to me shows that someone wasn't happy, but they knew that they had to do it. So they played that, and that was that. So that was a very interesting segment. What did you think of that whole promo? What did you think of Lesnar not showing up?
Oh, it's just the usual thing. He's just never there. Like, it doesn't even feel like to me that he's in the actual business anymore.
I don't think he wants to be.
But I did like the Reigns promo. Like, it was good. To me, it's the best thing he's done in a while. He's just been a bit silent there.
I liked that the crowd actually gave him some recognition.
Yeah, they actually were leaning towards his side at the end.
Because he was speaking facts.
Hey.
He was saying what everyone else was thinking. And he was right too. No one else, apart from John Cena.
Now, I don't know if it was a shoot or not, or
I think it was.
Or if it was planned. I don't know. I couldn't really tell. So he did deliver that well.
I wouldn't say it was planned, because Brock Lesnar was scheduled to be there.
What was he?
Well, they were hyping it. They were hyping it last week before the Chamber. They said that the winner will face off. Brock will be there next week.
But did they hype it when they sold the tickets?
You'd think they would, if they've been saying that he's going to be there for a
But
week.
if they haven't advertised him, like, it's not like they're letting down the crowd.
True.
That's there.
That's true. Well, we don't know. But as far as we're aware, he was hyped to be there. He was slated to be there. They even had the image hyping up the fact that he was going to be there, and they were finally going to face off again. And whether it was planned or not, Roman delivered that promo great. The crowd agreed with him and finally actually gave him some props, which was good. Then we lead into a little video package of Braun Strowman beating up Elias a few weeks ago with that double bass, which is always a fun image to see. And then the new Braun cam shows Braun sending a message to Elias for their match later tonight, saying that he's going to perform a Symphony of Destruction. A little cheap Megadeth pop there, plug there. And that was it. Then we show the package for their Black History Month, and we head straight back into action, and it is The Bar versus Titus Worldwide, gay, but not gay today.
Yeah, they don't really. I was actually just blown away by this match.
Yeah, this was a 2 out of 3 falls match for the tag team titles. It was a rematch from the Elimination Chamber, which Titus Worldwide lost in a very, very terrible match. And then tonight, on Monday Night Raw, they pull out a match that was legitimately pay-per-view worthy.
When they came out, I was just like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, I could not believe what I was seeing.
I was actually excited when they said it's a Raw tag title match, but when they said it was against
Titus Worldwide,
I was like, oh my god, here we go. And then they announced that it's a 2 out of 3 falls, and then I was just like, oh my, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the match was just blew me away straight off the bat. Sheamus comes in, or Cesaro
distracted from the opening bell. He just runs through the ring, distracting Titus, and straight out the other end as soon as Titus turns around, bang, brogue kick,
all over.
First fall to the bar, and then it was a bit of offense here and there, back and forth, and then it was good tag team wrestling. Cesaro and Sheamus cutting off Apollo from tagging in the big man, Titus O'Neil. When Titus finally got into the match, he had a good little streak. He did some good power moves, chucked Cesaro around for a bit. Apollo, once they went to the outside, Apollo did a good little dive spot to the outside, and to Titus Worldwide's credit, they got me invested in their match.
Yeah, everything they were doing was just at the start of the match. I was just like, oh, okay. They started it off with that first fall, and then I was like, oh, this is going to drag on for a bit. I wasn't really invested, but then as I kept watching, I was glued to the screen.
Yeah, there was decent spots, good teamwork from both. And yeah, like you said, very invested into the match. But in saying that, the ending was a clean sweep for the Bar. Double team to Apollo Crews. Sorry, McLovin. One name now.
Apollo.
And it's all over. So I don't understand what's going on. I'm confused from the get-go because I don't understand why this match was not on Elimination Chamber and the match on Elimination Chamber was not on Raw. It does not make sense to put a absolutely terrible match on Elimination Chamber and then a very decent match on Raw. And keep in mind that the Bar came out to a good reaction, semi-decent as always. And Titus Worldwide came out to absolutely no reaction at all. And the crowd seemed to get into it by the end. It was a good match, and it was just confusing as hell because I don't get it. Titus Worldwide, what's going on with them? Are you pushing them? Are you not? What's happening with the Bar?
Why did they get a rematch when they lost?
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't just, if the champs lose their titles, they get the rematch?
Now on to the next competitors. Anyway, after the match, it would seem like we have a promo from the Bar, and they're just talking. They crack a couple of jokes, and then they start to talk down on all the people that they've beaten. Says that there's no one really left to beat, but they feel like when it comes to WrestleMania, they're going to be punished, even though they're the champions. And it would appear like someone's going to come out and interrupt them because they're talking down on a bunch of teams and saying that nobody can beat the Bar.
There's no one left.
But then no one came out. It was just a little promo.
I seriously thought it was the Revival.
I thought the Revival were going to come out too because of the way that they've been like talking against some teams as well. I thought, well, there's your automatic angle right there.
Hey.
Two people talking trash and all the other tag teams. Put them together. Revival haven't had a shot at the belts yet, to my knowledge.
No.
Then there you go. That's a fresh team. Fresh team to chuck in there. And like, I'm not the biggest Revival fan, but I'm also not a Revival hater. They're a good, solid tag team.
I reckon it would have been a good match for Mania. Like,
It could very well be happening. We don't know. We better not jump the gun.
Two hard hitting teams.
Yeah, we better not jump the gun because we never know. Like they said, there is still 6 weeks to go, but that is only 6 weeks to go. So if they are going to set up a storyline, it needs to be quickly. But on that note, we are going to take another little break, and when we come back, we will talk about the final few segments on Monday Night Raw. Until then, stay tuned, because you are listening to Wrestle Report Australia.
Have you ever felt like there's something missing in your life? Yes! Have you ever felt like you wanted something in your life? Yes! Is that thing the greatest wrestling and fight podcast of all time? Yes! Well, guess what? What? Now you've got it! Got it! Wrestle Report Australia, the only place to come to get these pods. Hit the like, subscribe button now. You're now listening to Wrestle Report Australia.
You're here. I'm here. Let's do this!
Welcome back once again, everybody. You are tuned in to Wrestle Report Australia. I am Mike. This is Lon. Hit him with it for the third time.
Yo.
Hey, yo. That's right. We are back. These are the final few segments of this week's Monday Night Raw. We left off at the end of the tag title match with the promo from the Bar after their win. And then from that, we led into the Warrior Reward Recipient segment. Now, I always like this part of the show every year because the Warrior Reward showcases something very near and dear to a lot of people. Both Lon and myself know the struggles of life, and this segment really gives shine to a lot of people that have overcome so many obstacles in their life that would have taken any average person out of the game for good. So I always enjoy this segment, and this year's recipient is a young man by the name of Jarius JJ Robertson, who has been battling since the day he was born and never ever once gave up, and now he's 15 years old, and doctors said that he wouldn't even see that age. So good on you, little champion. You're a little soldier. Welcome to this year's class. Welcome to this year's Hall of Fame class that also includes the Dudleys, Ivory, Goldberg, and Jeff Jarrett. Very good class this year.
Yes.
I enjoy the Hall of Fame each year, but sometimes the entries aren't as exciting. But this year it seems that every entrant is brilliant. I'm glad Ivory's in there.
Ivory, the Dudleys, Double J.
Double J is...
That's a lot of attitude error in there.
That's a very interesting addition too. Can I just touch on Jeff Jarrett quickly?
Yes.
Being added into the WWE Hall of Fame after trying to compete with the company for so many years with so many different various promotions. They still acknowledge all that he does and has done for the wrestling industry and WWE, and I think that's cool. I like that. But can I just point out a fact too? Still no China.
Yeah.
Still no China. You would have thought this year would be the year. But
yeah, after Stephanie mentioning her at the Royal Rumble.
After Beth Phoenix being inducted and mentioning her in her speech last year, I would have thought this year would be the prime spot, but obviously she ain't going in because Ivory is the female inductee this year, unless they chuck a curveball and add another, but I don't see it happening.
I don't think they will, because it might take away from Ivory being... Like, I'm not saying Ivory's, not worthy of being in there with China, but...
She would be the marquee name of the inductions just for the fact that she's finally going in there. And everyone would lose shine. And I guess with the class...
If China went into it now, if they announced that she was going into it, I don't think anyone would even think about Ivory.
Everyone would just be talking about China finally going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's it.
But she deserves it, so we'll see what happens. It's an interesting predicament that they're in, I suppose. But yes, a very good class nonetheless this year, and welcome Jarius JJ Robertson. Congratulations on everything that you have achieved in your life, little man. We here at Wrestle Report Australia salute you and wish you and your family all of the best. And we'll be watching the Hall of Fame to see what you have to say, because we've seen your little interviews with all of the superstars and you are very, very entertaining. I love how you punked the Miz. That was brilliant. So, yes, Hall of Fame is shaping up to be good this year. After that, we see a little hype for the Braun and Elias match, and then we cut to commercial. Yes, the monster among men, who had a terrific showing in the Elimination Chamber match, eliminated everybody until Scrotum Pains himself eliminated him.
The big dog.
The big dog. So we go to commercial, and then we come back to seeing the video package of Braun beating up Elias with the double bass again. Because let's face it, you can't watch that enough times. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. We cut to Elias in the ring, who gets his regular good reception that he's been getting lately for his trademark spots of Who Wants to Walk with Elias. And I'll say that I'm getting quite close to walking with Elias, I have to admit.
I like how they're building him.
It's interesting because a couple months ago I could not give a shit about Elias.
That's it.
And all of a sudden I found myself enjoying Elias. So yes, I may walk with you, my friend, but we will see. But yes, he got another good reception for his other trademark phrase of WWE stands for
Walk with Elias.
I like that as well. He's very smart. I wonder, I always wonder if superstars like come up with, like, obviously you can tell which ones are the good talents at coming up with their own material, but when it comes to little catchphrases like that, I wonder if they came up with it themselves or if they were given that.
He explained that on the ENC podcast.
Did he really?
Yes, when he was on it last week.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point out that Lan is the expert in podcast knowledge on this show. Me, I just sit here and talk about what I see, but he's the one with all the internal knowledge of how this stuff really works. So this is why we are such the knowledgeable team that you will come to enjoy. So how did he explain that? I would like to know.
It was from the feud he had with Cena there.
Yes.
And he said he was backstage with Cena, and Cena, he wasn't happy about something or other, and Elias just goes up to him, just, trying to make him happy, and he goes to John, "Do you want to know what WWE stands for?" And John's like, "What?" And he's like, "Walk with Elias." And John just starts cracking up, just praising him for it, just saying that he needs to.
That's his thing.
He needs to use that.
So John gave
him
him the goods.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't give him the goods, but he gave him the recognition for the goods.
The next week he actually used it.
Wow. Hey.
And it was for a promo with John. So
I have to say, even though I hate the material that John is forced upon us with in the wrestling world, as just a guy, just a regular human being, I really enjoy John Cena. Like, he's very entertaining character. Just to point out a fact I like in the WrestleMania special that they put up, where he got lost in the arena and just plays it off so funnily. I like that. So it's cool. That's mad. I didn't know that. Elias pitched something just to cheer John Cena up, and it became his trademark catchphrase. Cool. That answers my question. Thank you, Lan. So there you go. He gets his good receptions for his trademark phrases. Says he wasn't originally going to perform a song or treat himself to a performance. Instead, he was going to focus on the match, but Braun was dissing his music, calling it noise pollution, and Elias took that as Braun just wanting to be Elias, because he says, "Who wouldn't want to be me?" And then he goes on to say that Braun's performance with the double bass was noise pollution. Said that Corey Graves himself is noise pollution. And then said the crowd themselves are noise pollution, and then went on to tell them to turn off their cell phones and shut their mouths so he could perform his song about Braun Strowman. But before he could get too far into it, Braun's music hits to the biggest pop of the night. Everyone's so hot on Braun Strowman right now, and you can see why. He is, like you said in our first edition, the best homegrown WWE talent at the moment, and you stated that, and I have to firmly agree. He's just on a roll like I haven't seen.
Every time he comes out, I just get so hyped.
You know something's about to go down.
So intense, like, I don't know. His energy just makes you get into it so much. You're just like, oh,
Yeah. Yes! Strowman!
He's gonna kill.
He's gonna hurt someone.
You know something's gonna go down whenever Strowman is in a match. And he got the biggest pop of the night, and he made his way to the ring as we went to another commercial break. And then when we come back, the bell rings immediately to officially begin the match. Strowman chants ring out through the building almost immediately.
in Goldberg form.
Strowman. He could be. If they build him properly, he could be as hyped as Goldberg.
I like how they actually do the Goldberg chant, but they say Strowman's name.
Yeah.
For Ryback, it was just
It's Goldberg. Everyone else gets the Goldberg treatment,
shitting on
but
him.
Strowman's got his own build now, and you can tell, like I was saying when we were watching it, he's having fun in there now.
Yeah.
He's got the confidence, like when he goes to do his smashing forearms, he'll throw his arm up in the air and look around at the crowd and say, yeah, okay, bang, and he's just having fun in there, and that's cool. But the match began. Elias was just running around trying to get away from Braun, as you obviously would do. But Braun eventually just grabs him, and it's the usual Braun Strowman beatdown. Best big guy in the business. And that ain't changing anytime soon. I haven't seen a big guy with this much hype and on a roll like this in a very long time.
He's the one that needs to be in the main event with Lesnar.
Yes.
And taking that title.
Yes, he
and
is.
running with it.
I'm hoping that they do some sort of curveball and add him into the match, but it seems like for some reason I have a feeling he's going to be versing Elias.
Yeah. I had that feeling the whole time, and I do not like that if that's what's going down, because he needs to go for a title.
To explain why I agree, but to explain why we believe this is happening, this match was basically Braun beating down on Elias and Elias running away. He eventually tries to... There's not much happening in this match. It's basically Elias running away, and he eventually tries to hide under the ring, and Braun pulls him out, but Elias has a fire extinguisher. Uses the extinguisher, gets DQ'd, attacks Strowman. Strowman rallies back for a sec, but he's blinded, and Elias runs out of the ring, and Braun chases him up the ramp and seems to go put him through a table, the announce table, but Elias counters. Braun's still blinded throughout this entire segment. He's playing off from the extinguisher because he got hit a few times with the spray and then got beat down with it a little bit as well. But they continue to fight to the backstage area, and Elias gets away, and Braun is yelling, "I'm not finished with you." So let me get this straight. Braun Strowman has a terrific run over the last month or so in the triple threat match with Brock Lesnar and Kane for the Universal Championship. He loses it, doesn't even get pinned. It's Kane that gets pinned. And he looks strong throughout that entire match, even after almost getting knocked the fuck out by Brock Lesnar. Then goes on to be in the Elimination Chamber match and eliminate every single person, including Elias, and only get taken out by the big dog because it's Roman Reigns. And even after losing, he puts the winner of the Chamber through a pod with a show of just absolute strength for his character, and then all of a sudden he's appearing to be getting set into an angle with the least popular and meaningful opponent from that Chamber match. How the fuck does that work? Like, obviously they've set up, "I'm not finished with you," Elias got away, so they're setting up an angle, and there's only one pay-per-view left coming.
Could just be a big match on Raw.
I hope so, because that doesn't make any sense. Braun's character's been so close to being that big guy, and now they're going to put him into a feud with Elias? I mean, that will completely wreck Elias. Elias needs to be kept away from someone like that if they want to build Elias's character. Braun's just going to run through him, and it's not believable to have Elias win that feud in any way. How can Braun beat all these people and then get pinned by Elias?
Yeah, I know.
So it's to me this angle is a train wreck, but I will follow through because it is Braun Strowman. There's always destruction when Braun Strowman is in a ring or in some sort of segment, so I'll see how it pans out because you've got to give it a shot But how many LAN stars does this match / segment get?
I don't know. Do we give the DQ matches stars or?
Well, I guess I guess we can leave that because it was just an angle setup, wasn't it? Basically,
Just because Braun's there, 5 stars.
5 stars off the bat,
No.
just from the pop.
No, I'd have to say, just if we were rating it, I'd just give it a 3. You know, just your average.
Yeah, all right. Lan has spoken. 3 stars for Braun versus Elias. Then we go to commercial. A thing to note is that while we were backstage and Braun was chasing Elias out, they stop, Elias gets away, and Braun yells at Elias, but as he's yelling at Elias, a limousine pulls up next to Braun Strowman. But we don't see anybody get out of it, and then we cut to commercial.
I was waiting for someone to come out.
Yeah, I was, and we didn't even, to let you guys know, you didn't see that limo again. That's all you saw of it.
But then I thought it was Rousey, but we
saw her earlier on in the show having a little chat with Kurt Angle backstage. We didn't mention that in the review because,
I didn't even know Rousey was going to be on the show until halfway through.
Yeah, well, it was kind of expected from what happened, but nothing was actually confirmed, that she was going to be there. But it was not like you could kind of, you anticipated that she was most likely going to be there, but she wasn't advertised.
Well, she said she wants to earn their respect and do everything the right way, so maybe she's showing up.
Yeah, the crowd popped for her tonight. We should mention that because on our first edition we did touch on the fact that the crowd absolutely shat on her for her debut at the Elimination Chamber. They really gave her a taste of what it's like to have to stand there and cut a promo when she cracked under the pressure. But the segment went on, and then tonight she came out to a roaring ovation. They absolutely loved her, and she came down to that ring with a purpose. She didn't give a shit. She was ready to kick some ass. But yeah, we saw the limo pull up, expecting someone to get out, but nobody did. And then we cut to commercial, and when we come back to lead into the final segment of the show, we have some video packages for the upcoming Raw and SmackDown shows, and then we lead into the Ronda Rousey segment of Monday Night Raw, the main event spot. King of Kings music plays over the loudspeaker, and Stephanie and Triple H make their way to the ring. Once they get in there, Steph is the first to start talking, saying that last night at the Elimination Chamber, it was supposed to be a highlight, signing the biggest star there is in Ronda Rousey. But because of Kurt Angle, everything went wrong. And then she went as far to say that Kurt was hallucinating in the ring because of the flu and being sick. It actually turns out, folks, that he had double pneumonia.
Double.
Whatever the fuck that is. And that's why he said the things that he said, and Ronda took action because she believed those things that Kurt was saying.
Why is he?
Why is he in a suit?
Why is he at Raw?
Yeah. Why is
Shouldn't
he in
be
a
at
suit?
home, like in bed
on a drip, getting some fluids, recuperating.
Oh yeah.
But no, Ronda took action because she believed those words from Kurt while he was hallucinating in the middle of a pay-per-view. And Steph went on to say that those actions might be allowed in the world of MMA, but they are not allowed here in the world of WWE. Some video package plays again. It's just the same thing that we've seen 3 or 4 times earlier on in the show. Just shows what happened when Kurt dropped the B word, and all hell broke loose at Elimination Chamber. And then we finally cut back to the ring, and Steph says that she understands the reactions by Ronda Rousey, but Steph had to show her who's boss, and that's why she got physical when she slapped her face.
Alright, Sasha Banks.
Remember when she slapped Brie Bella from the crowd?
Yeah.
And then Bella slapped it back? Whew, that was some frosty shit. Yeah, she said that she understands Rousey's reactions, but she had to get physical, and that Kurt and Ronda now both report to her, and that WWE now owns Ronda Rousey. She then calls everybody out to the ring so they can clear the air and they can know their place. She wants Kurt out to apologize, and she says, "Come on, Kurt. Come on, bro. Let's go." Crowd expecting Kurt Angle's music to hit. I was expecting Kurt Angle's music to hit, so we'd come out and have a little rally back and forth with them. But no, immediately the shittest theme in the world hits Ronda Rousey's music, and she comes marching to the ring. She meant business. There was no...
I like the way she come out. Like,
me too. That's how she needs to come out. And
come down looking all mean and
but how's she gonna come out like that? I give them about the reputation. It does not work. But that intensity, that's how she came out in the UFC too. And I always thought it was fucking weird. She can't be intense to such a happy song. It doesn't work. And she needs to be that badass that she came out like. And they need to rebrand that music after Mania, if she sticks around. But yes, her music hits and she comes down to the ring just looking like a beast. No pandering to the crowd at all. She doesn't look, doesn't smile at the camera, doesn't do nothing. She's got a serious look on her face and walks straight down to the ring as if she's going to destroy Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. They run out of the ring scared. They were out. And Kurt Angle quickly runs out with a microphone telling Ronda Rousey to wait. He says he just wants to say one thing, and he gets in the ring with her. And at this point, I honestly thought that he was coming out, and he's like, "Wait, I just want to say one thing." And then I thought he was going to be like, "These motherfuckers." I thought he was then going to start dissing him again.
Yeah.
But instead, he admitted that he was hallucinating, and that he was sick, and he had pneumonia. And that
he must have been sick. He forgot.
He forgot what he even said. He didn't even know what he said last night. And he says that Ronda coming to the WWE is the best decision that she's made. But
where's Booker? Needs to drop the midlife crisis.
Yeah, I think
Poor Kurt.
Yeah, that's. If anyone's having one, it appears he is. He's got a kayfabe son. And he's invented an illness called double pneumonia. And he's hallucinating in the middle of pay-per-views.
He doesn't know who his son
is. So, yeah, if that's not a midlife crisis, I don't know what is. But yes, he says Ronda coming to WWE is the best decision she's made. Says that she says that she meant everything that she said to him last night, but that she's never been slapped before. And that she won't be disrespected, and that she's nobody's property. And once again, I touched a bit on this in our first edition as well. The shitty production quality of WWE also has another strike, because for a brief few seconds, instead of seeing Ronda Rousey in the ring, we saw the glorious head of a cameraman.
Timmy the cameraman.
And then the camera, you clearly hear him realize that he's in the way, and you hear a, "Oh shit," and poof, he's gone. But come on, WWE, you have so much money. You are the best wrestling company there is in the world, and have been since you started, and that's fact. You have always taken the lead spot, and you can do better. You're getting lazy because you're in the top spot, but I'm sick of these.
You're getting camera shots of Timmy taking camera shots.
Yeah, that wasn't even. See, usually I'd blame the monkeys in the truck.
Monkeys.
But that wasn't even the monkeys in the truck. That was just a cameraman not knowing his shit. And that can't happen. Raw's supposed to be the flagship show. And you can't have shit like that going on in what is the main segment of the show. But he quickly gets out of the way. And Kurt Angle starts to tell Ronda Rousey that he understands that she doesn't want to be disrespected, but she needs to work within the WWE system, and that, quite frankly, he needs his job. So yes, he admits to hallucinating and inventing illnesses, and says that he lied at the chamber, and that he misheard Triple H and Stephanie because he was sick. He apologizes to everyone, and Triple H and Stephanie come back in the ring like everything's all good. They thank Kurt and Ronda for apologizing and getting everything out in the air. And as they go to leave, Ronda Rousey stops them and says that everything is being sorted except the slap. Slap heard around the world. And that if everything's to continue smoothly, she's the one that needs an apology. And if not, she will rip Stephanie's arm out of her socket. To which the crowd chant, "Rip it out."
Rip it out. Savage. Savage crowd.
No fucks were given this night in Anaheim. Stephanie McMahon's arm could have been ripped off and chucked into that crowd, and they would have taken it home and framed it. But then Steph gives the most sarcastic apology that I believe I've ever seen in my life.
It looked like she was about to just rush up to her.
And then she dived into an apology that seemed so over the top and just insincere and just sarcastic. And she welcomes Ronda to the WWE, and then they go to leave again. And as they're exiting the ring, Triple H quickly turns around and just drops Kurt out of nowhere.
Poor Kurt.
Hey, I don't even know if he saw it coming. He was probably hallucinating, thinking of something else that he heard.
It's like Triple H is picking on him all the time, like at the Survivor Series in that match. Full just picked on him and just turned on him.
Yeah. Triple H is a bit of a dick these days.
I thought he was bad for him.
Poor
little Kurt just get... poor
little Kurt.
Poor little Kurt Angle. Just getting dropped.
Getting told he sucks every
for
week.
What?
For what? For nothing. For
trying to keep his job.
Yeah, come on. Give him a break, Hunter.
He really needs this job.
Yeah. He admitted that he was wrong. He's sick, man. You can't drop a man when he's sick.
He's sick.
Oh, that's just me. Kick a man while he's down. But yeah, the little sneak attack, and then Triple H and Stephanie leave. Ronda helps Kurt back to his feet, and that's it. Raw goes off the air.
That's it.
That's it indeed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this week's Raw review for Wrestle Report Australia. This is only our second ever edition of Wrestle Report Australia, so we apologise again if things are a bit shaky and not as smooth as they should be. As more editions come out, we will be sure to improve, and we hope that you enjoy our product that we put out to you. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Tell all your friends, tell your family, tell your cats, tell your dogs, tell that freaky guy that's always walking down your street. Whenever you're bored, just make sure you tell anyone that you can that Wrestle Report Australia is the only place to go to get these pods. This podcast was recorded on Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. So keep in mind that yes, we're in Australia and we're always one day ahead of America, but we are still reporting as it is happening. Just don't get confused, because we do sometimes. But it's all good, because this is Wrestle Report Australia, and it's the only place to go to get these pods. We are Mike and Lon. Until next time, doses.